Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a video about using your bullet journal for studying. So if you're studying at high school, university / college, if you're studying from home, any kind of study. So just a bit of a disclaimer at the beginning. I am currently studying, but I am studying from home. So what I've done is I've made up some spreads that could be used for somebody who's actually going to classes. I will show you those a little bit later, and I will obviously let you know that they're not real. But I'm also going to be showing you what I do for, my stuff as well. I did open up on social media the possibility of people asking questions about studying and okay, so let's get started. The first thing I want to show you is future logs because they're extremely useful for studying because then you can put all of your important dates all in there. That's kind of obvious. Okay, so this is my current future log. I have an assignment due date listed, block course dates, so that's where I actually have to go into a block course, and I also have my first field practice date along with personal stuff as well. I don't have a full year future log, but I do have just an overview of important dates down the bottom here so that I can easily see what's coming up after June. I also want to show you this future log from an old planner of mine. Basically, it's kind of the same thing in terms of when I have due dates, combining it with all of my personal things as well. The other thing that I want to show you is this here. So this is not a real semester plan. This is one that I drew up for this video based on what I remember my semesters being like when I was actually at university attending classes. This overview section is basically like a future log that's just for school related stuff. When your due dates are, I've got them color coded in red. It matches up to the key up there. When there are breaks or holidays, they're in purple. And anything school related, so when the semester starts, when study breaks are on, when exams start, when the semester ends, etc. Any other date during your semester you can put in here. And then I've also got a class timetable down the bottom here, so that you know at a glance what classes you have and when you have them. And then just this little overview key. For me personally, I would just use all of the normal bullet journal signifiers and stuff. And then obviously the color code there. And this is the color code for each class, which I think is really useful if you have multiple different classes to be able to color code them so that as you're writing things in your planner, you can just use a specific color and eventually, like it only takes a week or two, your brain will immediately go, oh, it's, psychology. So this is a cool little idea that you can use for doing just a semester overview if you want it to be a little bit more separate from all of your personal stuff. Like you could still put these dates and everything in a normal future log as well. But just if you want to be able to go somewhere specific where you just see all your study stuff, so that it's not overwhelmed by all of the personal stuff on top of this, then I highly recommend doing a semester overview page. This is something that I used to use when I was studying at university and I had multiple classes on. I didn't do it in a bullet journal because I didn't know they existed then, but I just used to put it on a piece of refill in my binder or whatever I was using at the time. That's another really good idea for a future log type thing. Okay, the next thing I want to move on to is showing you a monthly log. So this is my monthly log from October of last year. I don't have a lot of study related stuff because at the time I was really only putting in due dates, but you could 100% use this to also plan out more specifically what you want to do and when you want to do it. So if you have an assignment due, say on the 30th, you could plot out what you want done by when, if that makes sense. That's what a future log can be really useful for, not just having a due date, but also planning things out a little bit so that in advance you have an idea of when you need to do something. The other monthly log that I want to show you is my current one, so what I'm using right now. So down here in my actual monthly log, I've got when my assignment is due. Again, for me personally, I don't tend to plan out what I need to do by when on this, simply because it fills up a lot of stuff. Over here in my notes, I also have a bunch of to-dos for the assignment that I have due. The next thing that I want to show you is using a weekly log for study. As you guys know, I'm very fond of having a study plan in my weekly log. So that is where I just have an overview of the week, and then in a small area I put down a rough outline of what I need to be doing and when. So I have my assignment, I want to work on that today, and I worked on it yesterday. I know when I'm going to be at work as well, and then I also have another assignment day here, and then I will be writing down more specific tasks and stuff for these other days. So that's one way that you can use a weekly spread to sort of study plan. I also have this weekly log here. This is just my old style of weekly log. Basically what I would do is I'd have large chunky kind of weekly overview of stuff. There would be some to-do lists, and then I would also have in my notes or to-do section different tasks and stuff that might relate to study. And then over the page I have the actual study plan for this week. So I had quite large boxes for each day, and then in them I would put down all the things that I wanted to do. So this was planned generally on the weekend before this week started, so there's not a huge chunk of time between completing last week's study plan, so I know if any tasks need to be migrated over here, etc. Another weekly log that I want to show you is this one here. So it looks much the same as the last one that I showed you, but this is obviously on 2-page spread, which I like much better. I think this works much better for me. The next weekly log I want to show you is one that I made up for this information here. So this imaginary semester at university. This is a full-on weekly spread. So you probably wouldn't use dailies in addition to this unless you have a lot of stuff that you need to do or you want to list down. We have each day of the week along here, and then down the side we've broken it up into different chunks. So the first chunk is personal stuff that you have on. The second chunk is anything study related. And as you can see, I have color coded the classes that are on this week, so you know when all your classes are going to be. I have got different tasks on here for the different subjects that you're doing. You could color code this as well. I didn't do that because I wanted the classes to stand out. But one other thing that you could do if you just want to put your class times is that you could break this box up and just have your class times like down the bottom or something, and then tasks there. And obviously you can adjust the size of these boxes to what works for you. The point is that you have a clear idea of what you actually need to do with your studies, when your classes are, or due dates, or breaking down a task. Now I want to move on to daily. So we're back in my current planner at the moment. Over here, this was from last week. So I have when I want to do stuff like my morning routine. I was working this day, I was doing my volunteer stuff at the daycare in the morning, and then I had a lunch cover to work, and then more volunteering after that, and then I've got chill, dinner, personal time. And then this is what happened. So I got up half an hour later than normal, didn't really get to do all of my morning routine that I like doing. But my work hours and stuff was still the same. And then I have down here just all of my to-do lists. And this one's quite large, and it has quite a few study related tasks listed down on here as well. So what I usually do is just put study in my daily logs because I can just refer to the study plan. But sometimes there'll be a task from the study plan that needs to be broken down further into smaller chunks of task or whatever. So I will write those down. Okay, so this has kind of concluded the normal bullet journal stuff. Your future logs, monthly logs, daily logs, if you use weeklies, etc. And having like a weekly study plan type stuff. The next thing that I'm going to show you are different collections that you can use that will hopefully help you as you're studying. So the first one I want to show you is a degree overview. So this is really useful if you want to have an overview of your actual degree and all the different courses and stuff that you need to do. Because I'm doing a graduate diploma and this is basically just one big topic about early childhood education, I have different courses that I need to do, but they happen one after the other. I unfortunately couldn't find any of my old overviews. So if you want like a more traditional idea of an overview for a normal university degree, then I would recommend checking out Pinterest, because usually you can find a lot of stuff on Pinterest. If you just search something like bullet journal degree overview, you'll probably come up with something. But anyway, if you're doing something like me, this works quite well. This was a lot simpler than the degree plans that I remember doing several years ago. It also serves as a checklist, so every time that I complete a course, it gets a tick, and then whenever I get my grade back, I just pop it in down here. Another thing that I wanted to show you was having a spread for useful contacts for your semester. So I've placed the useful contacts next to this semester overview. I used to do something like this in normal planners when I was at uni, so I would just like have a note page or something in the planner and put down like the professor name and email and the tutor name and email for each class. And also like if you've got lab partners or people that you're going to be collaborating with for each course, then you can always put their contact details down as well. Next thing that I want to show you is a course breakdown. So I do one of these for every course that I do just to help me know what I've got to do basically. So what this involves is I always put a little summary of what the assessment is along here, how many words it is, etc. And then I have a checklist. My courses are broken into sections of reading material, and then they have different tasks and stuff that are within each section. So I write all of this down just so that I can check it off and I know where I'm up to, what I've done, if I've done all the readings and all the journal reflections and quizzes and everything. I stopped marking it down when I moved to my new bullet journal because I migrated this into the new one. So for my new bullet journal, this is what my course overview looks like. Again, I have the assessment summary here, and then I have this checklist. But I've tried to break it up more clearly into the different sections, and then each subsection has a square that I colour in once I've done it. And then within each subsection, again, I just have different tasks that I need to do. This is a more condensed version of the last one, which is really good because the last one actually went over to a third page, which irritated me. And then I have this extra space down here, which is where I put a brain dump for this particular course. And that's another thing that's really good to use in your bullet journal for studying as well, is a brain dump, because sometimes I just feel so overwhelmed by everything that I have to do that it's really nice to just splat it down on a piece of paper so that I can then organize everything. The next couple of things I want to show you over here is this is a study brain dump in my old bullet journal, so it was a little bit more stylistic and everything, and it had a full page so that I could just write everything down. And then over here is a little spread that I made called How to Assignment, which is basically just advice to myself for getting through an assignment, because sometimes I can find it really overwhelming doing assignments because I'm a perfectionist and I kind of forget to just like breathe and do the assignment rather than completely freaking out the whole time about making everything perfect. This could be useful if you are similar, or if you have like a particular process that you prefer to go through. Okay, so the final thing that I want to show you is a project kind of breakdown. So this is an imaginary essay from an imaginary course called Psych 101. Summary is spelled with an A. What am I even on? I misspelled summary. Maybe it was because yesterday when I was doing this, it was really hot and I wanted to die. Anyway, excuse this. I'm very sorry about that. So you have the assignment, so what the assignment's titled, and then a summary of what the assignment is. So maybe the assignment question, for example, like discuss the merit of Freudian psychological theory in modern practice, 600 words, etc. And any other details that you want to put down. For the rest of this page, what we have are main steps and break it down. I got this idea, by the way, off Pinterest, so I will leave a link down below to the original one so that you can see it. So the main steps are things like planning and research, organize and plan essay, write, draft and do the first edits, and then final edit, stylistics, and submit, etc. Then you want to break this main step down into little steps. So things like understanding the question, researching Freudian theory, researching Freudian prose, cons, researching modern theory, and taking notes about what you have learned. Then this organize and plan essay, we've broken it down into organized notes and references, creating a logical order of the different notes and stuff, and then planning out an essay outline. For write, draft, and first edits, we've got write the first draft, redraft, edit, read, edit, references, and then the final edit, stylistics, and submitting it. So a final edit of adjusting, proofreading, stylizing the assignment, making sure that you have the right line height, etc. The final check, and then submitting. So each time you complete one of these tasks, you can colour in or tick off one of these little boxes. Once you've done them all, then you know that this one is done. If you wanted, you could put like a little square down here and colour that in or tick it off once all of these are done as well, just so it's more clear in your mind that this step has been taken care of. So I think this is a really useful spread because being able to see it on paper and figure out what you need to do and when you need to do it can be really useful. So this is basically everything that I have got to show you about using a bullet journal for study. I'm quite basic in what I use my bullet journal for when it comes to study, but I do know that there are people out there who will use their bullet journal to take notes as well, so maybe it's class notes or reading notes, just anything that they need to jot down. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it at least somewhat helpful if you're studying. If you have any tips, tricks or questions, please leave them in a comment down below and I will answer them. So yes, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and I will see you again really soon. Bye!